What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the PT³ Podcast, where strength, rehab, and performance all collide. Today's episode is going to be pretty short compared to our usual deep dives, but powerful, I promise you, because I want to give you a heads up about something big coming in just 2 weeks. I just recorded an interview with Ryan Gardner, the founder and CEO of Bucked Up, and it's honestly one of the best conversations I've had ever on this show. Today, I want to give you just a taste of what's coming, why it matters, and how it ties back to your own journey. So, most of you know Bucked Up, the deer logo, the pre workouts, the branding that's all over gyms, but what most people don't know is how it all started. Ryan and his twin brother Jeff built this thing from the ground up, taking what began as a small business in Utah and scaling it into a global brand that you see everywhere today. When I got him on the podcast, he told me things that you'll never see on a label or a website. How he scaled marketing with only 3 people, the crazy story with Ray Lewis over a domain name and deer antler spray, and how close things came to not working out at all. And here's the kicker: he only promised me 30 minutes, but we ended up talking for just about a full hour because the conversation just flowed. That's how you know it's real. Guys, it was awesome. And this is a really genuine dude here. So I want you all to appreciate Ryan and the time that he spent on this show. And I really hope that it provides value to all of you when you listen. Now, why am I so hyped about this? Because this conversation isn't just about supplements or business, it's about mindset. And if you guys have listened to my show since the start, back when I was PT² or I didn't even have myself established as a true business yet, I was just reading books on stoicism and philosophy and coming on here to reflect and talk about mindset and mindfulness and introspection. So I think it's incredibly valuable to hear these perspectives from people that have been through the whole journey, understand the struggles and their own strategies they've used to stay afloat during those trials and tribulations. Now, if you're a student right now grinding for your boards or an upcoming exam, you'll hear a lot of lessons about staying disciplined when your resources feel limited. If you're an athlete or a lifter, you'll connect with Ryan on how he built a culture of performance and stood out in a very crowded, saturated field. If you're a clinician or a coach, you'll see how thinking differently and betting on yourself can actually open doors that you didn't even know existed. And that's why I wanted him on, because I don't want this podcast to just educate. I want it to light a fire under you guys to think bigger about your own goals, be bold, and commit to yourself. For me personally, I think it hit home because I've been on that grind myself for years, going through undergrad and my DPT program, now residency, and launching PT³ got all of this at the same time simultaneously. And there were so many moments where I thought, man, do I really have the bandwidth for this? But just like Ryan says, it's not about having the resources up front. It's about being resourceful and consistent and building that team of people that's going to help get you to the finish line. Because at the end of the day, you can't do everything yourself. And that was really good advice that I got from Ryan during that episode, was to build that team as soon as possible and don't be afraid to spend your money on professionals that can do good work for you. And that money will come back real fast. So, guys, let me give you just a taste without spoiling the full interview. Ryan talked about his early days growing up in Utah and how his first business taught him lessons that he still uses today, and how Bucked Up almost didn't exist if he hadn't made some very bold moves at very random times. One of my favorite parts was when he explained how he looks at failure not as something to avoid, but as feedback and a way to improve, and understanding that there will always be setbacks. And he talks about one of his biggest setbacks at a big launch of theirs with a new product, and how it shaped the legacy of his company. One decision changed everything, and it looked like it was going to be a serious problem, but it turned out to be one of their greatest triumphs. So that's something to get to look forward to on the episode. And I thought it was really, really awesome. And it made me think back to my own journey when I started posting content consistently on Instagram years ago. Had no idea what I was doing. Most of my reels flopped. I was getting no engagement. I had barely any followers. It felt like I was just pouring all of this time into a brick wall. And that used to bother me. But over time, I realized exactly what Ryan's saying is that all of this is feedback. It shows you what works, what doesn't. It gives you metrics. It forces you to adapt. And same in the clinic, same in training, same in business. This perspective alone can change how you attack your next challenge and give you that insight that you need to find success in the next attempt. Because as you know, you don't fail until you stop trying. That is a very true statement. So before this episode drops, I want you to think about your own situation. If you're a student, what is your bigger vision beyond just passing the test that you're getting ready for? If you're a lifter, what's the why behind your training? And when motivation runs low, what fuels you? If you're a clinician or a coach, what's the thing that you want to build that's bigger than just showing up to work every day? That is the type of thinking that Ryan will challenge you to do, and it's exactly the type of mindset shift that can move you from where you are now to where you want to be. So, here's what I want from you guys. Hit that subscribe or follow button so you don't miss this drop in 2 weeks. Share this teaser with a friend who's grinding right now because you're both going to want to hear this one. And if you're new here, check out some of the past episodes because they build up everything that's necessary for this upcoming episode. We talk about protein, creatine, pre-workout, caffeine, macromolecules, the physiology behind all this really cool stuff, and it's all research based. So it's, if you understand this stuff, you'll understand the conversation that I have with Ryan and how it weaves into all of his products, because we even discussed the line of Bucked Up products in the episode. We talk about their pre-workout, their protein, their creatine, their greens, all sorts of supplements that they offer. And I want you guys to understand this is a legitimate evidence-based company. All right, I don't want to spoil too much, but they have an entire department on research and development. They are actively doing research and clinical trials so that they can make these claims that their supplements are actually what they say they are. There are no proprietary blends. Everything that's put in there is stated very explicitly on the nutrition label, and you don't see that very often. A super, super transparent company with clinically dosed ingredients. And that just rings my bell right there. When I hear clinically dosed, clinically approved, evidence-based, I'm all over it because I always want to see what the evidence says. And if we're aligning with the evidence, that's a good product. So, guys, if you're new here, definitely check out some of those past episodes because, trust me, you're going to want to hear this the moment it goes live. Ryan Gardner, founder of Bucked Up, one of the biggest gym supplement companies in the entire industry right now, right here on the PT³ Podcast in just 2 weeks. So, that is it for today's episode. Like I said, short, sweet, packed with anticipation. I hope you guys are dying to hear the episode in 2 weeks, but big things are coming, guys. Stay tuned, stay strong, and as always, strength, rehab, performance. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.